before with eHome versus Hellraisers, but in a way they kind of counter each other to some extent. But Slark, the one thing about Medusa is she takes a long time to kill her target, so Slark just gets to stack up so much Essence Shift during it. But if you're playing against a Void, that can easily be stopped, because you can actually, if LGD, if you, let's isolate their lineup and say they get everything off. They have like 15 seconds of chain stun. They have Ravage into Chrono, then they have
Impale Hexes.
They have Impale, and then they also have the Stone Gaze afterwards. If they
and that's not even
time
counting
it
refreshers.
well, then that's going to be really
well, that's when the first Hex already cools down, so you could use it a second time. We could even go for days for this.
A million hours of stuff.
Okay.
But it's many ifs. That's the thing. How many ways do they have of initiating the fight? Tide needs Blink. Void can to some extent do it, especially if he gets decent farm, and Lion also needs a Blink. So it's not that easy for them to get in and set that wombo combo fight up, but if they do it, they could run over VG in team fights. I don't think VG can win an established team fight without a good RP.
All right. Well, Bruno and I are going to leave you guys. Lumi, Cinderumi, take it away.
So
okay.
Are you surprised by any of the laning here, Cinder? That dual lane top, it's 2-1-2 for Vichy, which pretty normal, right? Well, there's...
Yeah, I thought they were going to dual lane offlane the Jugger IO, so that's not really that surprising. There's going to be the bounty rune beat by IO, and Slark gets the other one. So they actually get both bounty runes. As far as rotating... No, this is what I would have expected, actually, from LGD-GAMING. So it looks like the way they will be putting their lanes is super mid on the Magnus. Toward the bottom lane, it's going to be Fenrir on the Witch Doctor together with Black on the Slark, and then the top lane will, of course, be the remaining two, iceiceice and FY on IO. So that's pretty much standard. As for LGD, Yao on the Void together with MMY's Lion will also be helped out by the AAF Faith. So triple lane for them up here. Mid lane, Sylar will be playing the Medusa, which is... We've seen Medusa mid all the games it was picked, actually.
Yes.
And then in July on Tide. I guess this is what you could have expected. Maybe LGD could have tried a dual lane off lane, but I don't know if they could have put a dual lane that beats this lane anyway.
Actually, I think Navi also runs Medusa, but I'm not sure if they run in mid. I think Dendi...
Yeah, we'll split mainly for the safe lane.
Yeah. So that's just a random aside. So this tri-lane is... I'm not sure if it's actually even going to win against this kind of Jugger with dual lane. I think Jugger is going to be just going into farm, and he honestly will not die thanks to Tether spin and overcharge coming in level 2 once Wisp gets there. So I'm not sure if you want to just rotate support, because if you just sit the tri-lane there, they're not going to get too much.
Yeah, a big part of the success of AA and tri-lanes depends on chilling touch, but if you have Blade Fury, then that doesn't really matter. You just block the magic damage. So I think the problem about this for LGD is I don't really know if they have an alternative. I don't think they can do anything that's much better than what they have right now. If anything, they could maybe rotate the AA mid and destroy that mid lane and give Medusa free farm instead of having Medusa versus Mag. But if they do that, they might open up the top lane for iceiceice to find a kill maybe, so...
Well, I guess Void also always have leap, so maybe not a kill, but Void's just not farming. But MMY does have boots first. Maybe they're going to go for early smoke play with, you know, Impale to initiate and Hex to follow up. That's a ton of damage. Wisp is going to go to check a little bit rune. Actually, is MMY in a little bit of trouble here? No, there's no ball.
This is a pretty good block. Faith is going to come in as well. Yeah, he's going to have to back off, but there's a skewer.
Okay. Impale hits on all three. He's going to be fine. He has to. Yeah, he's pretty lucky there. I think if they had level 2 on the Wisp with balls, maybe they get kill. Meanwhile, it looks like the Witch Doctor in a little bit of trouble.
No
shouldn't die here. Yeah, double damage. Pretty strong.
Yeah, if Tide it there, he might have actually chose to dive for it. Didn't have the goal at the time, so he got the bottom rune. The top rune was taken by Magnus. That was a bounty rune, so not really going to put too much pressure mid. Currently being won fairly handily by Sylar on the Medusa, 16 CS on him against 10 on Mag. But like you said, that top lane, actually no one is farming in top lane. Juggernaut 6 CS,
I guess it's more,
Void is 6.
It's more okay for the Juggernaut to not get farmed, right? Because he's off lane in this case, he's dealing against a tri-lane, so if you could trade your no farm for Void's no farm, you would take that trade any day, right?
Yeah, because you're free farming the Slark as much as the mid lane, and Medusa, or sorry, Magnus is actually getting his as well. That's one of the nice things about Magnus in the mid lane. There's very, very few heroes that can prevent him from farming. Shockwave has nice damage, extreme cast range, and is very easy to land. So the only hero I can remember seeing totally dominated Magnus in mid is actually OD. Because he just goes and keeps banning him, and then there's no mana to even get the Shockwave off. But OD isn't really favored these days, so...
I think Mushi played it once, actually, in this tournament.
Oh, he did?
But Mushi plays like everything, so...
Yeah.
So maybe we'll see it in another eHome game. But it wouldn't surprise me after the draft if I tell you, Cinderin, that LGD is not going to come out this laning stage with 3-4 kills and farm on all their hero, right? Because they just picked a very weak early draft.
Yeah, their support doesn't really have energy. In a sense, Hex into Cold Feet can be good, but they're doing that against the Juggernaut, so even if they manage to land it, they won't be able to stun him long enough for him to not Blade Fury the Cold Feet, and then there's an IO behind him with Tether and the bottle. So this is impossible for them to win, actually. As long as the mid lane is going well and their Void is getting somewhat decent farm, I could look at a pretty good mid game though, and that is probably what they're aiming at. But yeah, it's as far as goes for now, easily favoring LGD-GAMING, maybe by a little more than it should.
Yeah, I guess you just favor your LG, wait for your ults, and make a play then. And probably nothing too informative to really talk about on LGD side for the next 4 or 5 minutes. They could just play passive, farm.
Yeah, they need to find a way of finding levels, though. I think they're... Even though they have a great AoE combination between Tide, Medusa, and Void, it's not going to cut it without an AA ult and an alliance with some significant levels.
That's fair.
They're not really finding that much. They're trying to pull a little bit, which is probably going to get AA and a half at this point, which is good enough for now. But I'm wondering, where did the spike to 6 if they can't find the kill? That's going to time only with, especially now that you see them contesting up there. LGD-GAMING not afraid to go and fight for the pull. Have even rotated up Fenrir to really dominate this lane and just leave back alone at the bot lane. And those supports of LGD are going to be absolutely starved.
Yeah, I guess in theory, once Void gets this Mask of Death, he could start jungling and maybe free up the lane, but right now you can see that iceiceice just going for the AA, and in fact, it's going to be a little bit of trouble as well. That crit did not fire off. iceiceice can't make up his mind. He's going between AA and the Void, and honestly, he's not too afraid of death thanks to the point shield and of course having spin. He's leveling up spin, which is not something we see too frequently lately. Most people go for the 1-1 build.
Yeah, it makes a lot of sense when you're playing with the Isle in an off-lane position to level it up, because you can reliably keep hitting with your Blade Fury when you have so much move speed from the tether. I believe, I can't remember the exact scaling of the abilities, I'm going to have to check that. I think it lowers the cooldown, which it does, by 4 seconds per level, so I think it's a hybrid of course it gives more damage, but the cooldown reduction might actually be more important, so you can get 2 of them off in a fight and be able to use it faster again. Sylar is going to get jumped on. They're actually going to RP this. Very, very much commitment. Don't even know if they will be able to get this kill. He doesn't have ultimate though. Didn't skill it.
I mean, they essentially hit them with every single ability, and he just shrugs it off, so I'm not sure if that RP is worth it, but honestly, I don't think the RP is going to be...
Oh, this time iceiceice might not be making it out. There comes the IO, though.
Overcharge is a little bit slow, but he's going to have a ton of regen. In fact, he might turn it around. The Blade Fury is available to catch bounces. It's going to bounce, but only once it bounces off to the other supports. They'll just run away, because here comes Tide without too much mana. FY should head away, and he will. So just a ton of fight. Follow your thought. Yao jumps forward, no bash coming in, and here comes the Blade Fury. Impale only hits on the Magnus.
Somebody die already.
There we go. Died. Here's the first one on Sylar of all people, and no back off. So I guess LG came out ahead, but they did rotate 4 people and like kill them.
Yeah, it just goes to show how little damage they have that they actually need to rotate up Sylar to find this kill, but I want to say it's worth it in the end, probably for them getting this first blood. I don't know how much more Tide could have accomplished bottom. Black is destroying him in lane after the head start. He got his 4 times the CS of the Tide, and if Tide stands on there, Black's just going to go on him all the time.
Yeah.
And I do believe you can remove the Anchor's Mesh debuff with Dark Pact, so he can actually just really fucking lay him head on. So
if you're in Black's position, you're farming extremely well, like you said. You know that LGD is going for some strong mid-game team fight. How would you itemize here? You get a little bit Midas? Or would you just say, I want to fight now?
I think this is the kind of game where you should aim to dominate as much as possible early. If he could tell how much farm the other heroes had, I think he would get Midas.
So this was League of Legends, and you could check out everybody's CS. You get Midas.
Can you?
I think so.
I think that's really. I don't think you can. But regardless, okay. If you could see their farm, he might invest into him because he can see they have a really good head start, maybe more than they feel they have. But if he, if this was, I think this is one of the games where it's the Shadow Blade or Blink on Slark and BKB. Slarks usually go for something like Cascadi, just expected to live through disable, dodging 1 or 2 of them with Dark Pact and then being generally just tanky, but there's just too much stuff. There's Ravage, there's Hex, there's Impale, even being able to avoid the Cold Feet, ignore that with BB. Mystic Snake is also not going to be a problem. So the only thing they have against the BKB is Chronosphere and Stone Gaze.
Yes.
And Stone Gaze is a little more tricky, I think. Getting caught in the Chrono, if he's in KB, he's going to be just fine. But the Stone Gaze could be a problem. So
if you
I actually think it's just hard to itemize in general against that team as well.
Yeah, I mean, when you're facing him against like 20 stuns, you know, BKB alone is not going to be enough. But I am behind on the BKB idea because Yao, for the most part, early on, is going to do a ton of magic damage because his time lock does magical. Maelstrom, which is one of the common build, is also, you know, magical lightning proc. So I'm
iceiceice is going to get Chrono. They're going to follow through here, but there's the bus.
Okay, but I think iceiceice still died. No, in fact, he died. Yeah, he died.
And Shiver has arrived from in July, channeling the inner miss. He's going to have Lloyd jump out as well. So 1 for 0. That's all that came out of that. That looked like it was going to be better than Super Throw.
Whoa!
Oh, he gets one.
What a snipe. He still got the haste rune, so he can give going for
a little bit more. Are they really going to go for this? They're going to get all of them.
Yeah, they will.
3 right away.
No, the balls are not hitting him, but they actually peek him a little bit. Where's the shockwave here? Shockwave, is he out of mana? He's not even in the fight anymore. Clark is going to be out of there. Black jumping out of the fight. Tether is going to get them out there as well. Oh, he's very low in health.
I think Black got 2 of those with Dark Pact, right? I did claim a double kill in that exchange.
Yeah, I think so. They're going to go back from ward. They get the healing ward.
They're all
good. July's still stuck in the same.
Hiding in the corner. But yeah, that looked like it was going to go really well for LGD-GAMING when they drove into the Skewer in the start. Oh, there it is.
Okay.
I don't even know if he was going for that or not, but does end up finding him. So yeah, Skewer into RP, they catch 2. Looked like they had the damage. Then the fight basically extends for like what seemed like 45 seconds almost until it finally ends at this point. And LGD-GAMING coming out way ahead, 4,000 gold lead for them, 3K on the experience, and that's just that Skewer into RP set them up and gave them a lot of time. And just the overall healing they're getting out. There's no ancient apparitional even close at this point. They're at 10.5 level 4. Same for Alliance. Like, these supports are just not doing any work for LGD right now.
And that goes back to what you pointed out earlier. There wasn't really a plan B for LGD, right? They couldn't, I mean, in theory you could stack and pull, but that can only get you so far. And they didn't really get off any successful ganks. So these supports are going to be looking to be really poor for a long, long time.
Yeah, and at the same time, Black is going to get really rich. As if he wasn't farming enough already, getting those 2 kills, he has decided to buy the Midas, and he's currently... I guess he's planning for his next item. What do you think? I guess he won't get BKB now, at least. And maybe not even get it at all this game, because, I mean, it looks good against the heroes I listed, but there is still the Stone Gaze and the Chrono, so maybe he just tanks up really hard and gets a mobility item, either Blink or Shadow Blade. I guess that's a given, right? You get one of those.
Tower is under attack.
But what do you think after that?
I think it really depends on how many outer towers you take down. Let's just LGD loses like their tier 1s, where Slark could start beginning to invade the enemy jungle and just go for pickoff. And I think that's where you just go for maybe more the standard Scotty build and just
or even an Abyssal for
sure. Yeah, I think just at that point he thought about it and then realized he can't really go for the solo kill.
He could have removed 1/4 of her mana with full on his life.
But if the T1s are down, I think that's the most important thing for Slark, more so than his build, because it really opens up the playing field that he can go for. But I think tanking up is important. Like, going back to what you said, there's just so many stuns. So many damage nukes.
Trying to flank here. The entirety of LGD, or at least 3 of the heroes, hard smoke behind the tower, and LGD-GAMING has to sense that something is up here, something's wrong. Slark gets a haste rune. He's out trying to scout them. I don't know if he broke any of their smokes there, and regardless, he wouldn't have seen it. No, he didn't break them. They're still all good behind the tower. They need a good Chrono right now so that they can win a fight and get level 6 on their supports. Slark's gonna go in and go out.
Okay, but they actually get him though, but there's really no follow-up. They need the Ravage. Ravage only gets like 2 or 3. In July, taking a ton of damage. Blayfair actually doing a lot. Fade dropping low. The Stone Gaze helping out a little, but they have a lot to line so far. iceiceice taking damage. He still has the option, but hasn't used it just yet. He's just chopping people down. They've lost the Wisp as well as the Magnus. Here comes Black, but he's taking way too much damage. He doesn't have Shadow Dance anymore. Another spin, that cooldown was pointed out, being leveled up really big. And now it's gonna go down here. iceiceice without using Omnislash, still on the front line. Finally, Black's still alive. iceiceice still has, no, he used Omni, excuse me. And he's gonna have a 3rd spin coming up soon. I think M1's gonna get chased down. Oh, the Gush slow movement speed. iceiceice getting impaled. Just a big cluster of a fight. In fact, Lion runs into the bosom of Juggernaut and dies.
And this fight extended for so long. LGD-GAMING got 4 kills, but only 3 heroes still alive for LGD. 2 of them respawn. Here's the relocate. Gonna skewer into. Okay, that's a pretty long skewer going for Salar. They're gonna need a little more damage than this.
Shockwave. Alright, big sniper. Here we go, Super. You got it.
Needs to hit this one. That's not even going to be enough, I think.
Oh,
it's going to be just fine.
Did he get like Arcane or something? How did you get it?
I think he might have just had lots on the stick.
Okay. That was a weird relocate because...
Man, these fights are chaotic.
Okay, so who won that fight?
Vici for sure won that fight, but I don't think they won it that much. I think they got it. Was that 3 for 2 or 4 for 2 even? 4 for 2. They got 4 kills.
Okay,
yeah.
and the relocate being big there. Well, I'm not sure if the relocate actually got them any kills, but they came back in for more fight.
Yeah, so the thing to note in that fight is that Black opens the fight from flanking, going into the entire team. And he precasts Dark Pact, so none of them want to cast their spells. The only counter they have is Void. Then he jumps out and Chronos Black, and no one can help. So if he Chronos him when he goes in, they die all 5, because then he Chronos his entire team and can't kill Black off. That's what would have happened in your average pop game. But when he Chronoed him when he ran out, the Chrono was placed so that Black was in the center of it, and that meant that the rest of his team couldn't really come in position fast enough. He needed to cast it further away. And then they end up committing half to going for Black. I think the Ravage from In July hit Black and maybe one other target.
The Magnus?
It might have hit Yeah, they got Magnus as the first kill they got in that fight, but just really not ideal. LGD are looking for a way better setup than a one-man, somewhat decent RP. They need to build. They need at least 2 or 3 in the Chrono, and then building in there.
I think the big difference there was the line wasn't level 6, the A wasn't level 6. If they had level 6s here, Chrono might have led to a Finger, Ice Blast, and they get that kill clean, and maybe would have taken a much better fight. But the early problem of this greedy LGD is really plaguing them. And is this line ever gonna find 6?
Well, it's 15 minutes in. It's pretty unusual for MMY to be level 4 at 15. It's kind of unreal, actually. He's almost always finding his levels, but this has really not been his game. He has 1 assist and 3 deaths. AA, fortunately, with that level 6, is going to do some work. But I agree, Finger of Death is needed. They don't have single target damage. They don't kill the single targets fast enough to really get an advantage and be able to push through in the fight. So getting that is going to be crucial. They could get it. The thing is, when he's so low level, if they find 1 kill, he probably gets level 6 from that alone.
But they just haven't found any kills.
Found a kill yet.
At least before he dies. And he's been, unfortunately dying.
What do you think about the Jugger build?
Yeah, I was going to say, I really like this build. I know we see a lot of
takes us back.
The stats, but it's really refreshing to see that this spin being spammed constantly in these fights, and he was, I think he got almost 3 in that fight.
Sylar got a haste.
Well,
he's running for FY. He's going to try to PP out. We'll make it. Oh, almost getting the buff.
I'm surprised how quickly Sylar is attacking.
He has only phase boots, actually. No attack speed at all.
Well, he's tanking the Omni Slash. In fact, speed. He's actually just right-clicking, but he's taking more damage from these spins. Here comes the grabs. They really need to bring down iceiceice, but he's very tanky next to performance shield.
Oh, what a precast Hex from the Why though.
RP under the depth where they're doing so much damage here. iceiceice is going to go down. Lusa dropping fast as well. What, 2-3 men is going to hit. Blink 4 here from Black. He does have the mobility item. He gets 1 kill, and he's looking for a little bit more. Super on the front line gets 1 shockwave kill. And MMY, ironically, the only person that survives the fight, and he almost gets to level 6 because they get the kill, but they will lose a T1 tower.
Man, MMY disturbs Leo after that Hex.
Yeah.
It's kind of funny how he was level 4, and he does everything he can with the 1 level of Hex he has in that list. Precasting the Hex, seeing that Mag probably going to blink RP, does not manage to get that off, but even then, like, if he gets the blink RP, that teamfight's already over. 5-man wipe. So at the very least, they got a trade. Well, it wasn't a good one. Man, this is getting out of hand.
I'm more surprised LGD decided to take that fight. It was... What do you think was the reason for them to undo so? And then whiff ported out? So essentially 4v5 for momentarily.
Yeah, he can just relocate back in.
Right, so... I mean, Magnus RP was up, Omni Flash was up. So it was just an interesting choice fight in front of the enemy T1. It didn't work.
I think they're just so desperate to land some sort of combo with their spells that whenever they see multiple heroes in a lane, they just try to go for the fight. Gaming are doing a good job. Speaking of which, they're spread out. Black easily getting a kill here together with Super finishing it off with the shockwave.
Yeah.
He's going to get an empower. Thank you for the kill. And he's going to run down. Maybe farm a little bit here. No. Still on the hunt. Went for the Blink Dagger.
Yep.
I think it's a better choice than the Shadow Blade. In this case, Shadow Blading into the LGD when there's an instant hex, the chronosphere that can detect you in well and just burst them.
I mean, the defensive part of the Shadow Blade, like you said, is quite useless. So if you're thinking purely for offensive capability, it almost guarantees a proper on your jump forward.
Nice skewer. It's going to get him into RP. Stone Gaze did go off, though. I don't think the kill. This could turn out to be a huge mistake. Great 4-man chrono from Yao. With the Mystic Snake too, they better get. Whoa! Oh, Finger of Death is on.
There you go.
Who would have thought?
Instant kill. Black trying to get some damage out, but he does he have it? Yes, he dark tags it. Off cooldown very soon, but the Hex finds it, and they're gonna get a very key kill on Black. I say that he'll jump so off, and finally a double kill off the back of a 4-man chrono. I think it was the website tried to relocate somebody out, but in order to relocate them out, he had to tether, but he tethered into the chrono, which made it a 4-man chrono. And off the back of that, they have a mech on the TIE Hunter, and Mask of Madness on Void, all of these items coming out. That's a huge fight for LGD.
Yeah, I think it's a big mistake for Magnus to try to, out of all heroes you can skewer in, don't take the Dusa. She's gonna, while you skewer, she's gonna get ready to Stone Gaze. She will get it off before you RP. And it just countered the entire engagement there. iceiceice got the spin-off, but he couldn't follow through because he was getting stoned. And I mean, at the end of the day, that just set up the easiest chrono of LGD's life there, which is, it's kind of funny that that's what it took. But if LGD-GAMING dives too far, look at how much they just gave back there. That's the rubber band right there. If you're far ahead, you can fall just as far. Very quickly with a bad fight.
And something to be said about this Juggernaut build, because he's gone for the more fighting build, his farming capability in the mid game is going to suffer a little bit. And when you lose a fight like that, and losing this particular tier 1, you can't just look at Slark as a solo carry, because, I mean, Mag is not going to be the carry of choice, so iceiceice is going to have to pick up the slack, and his build is not really good for that. So, give away 2 minutes. Okay, that's nice win damage. He's just gonna stand in front and fight you back. Is that Scotty? There's just so many icy slow stuff. Oh, that's
what a great opener!
Push him back, Ravage just set things up. Ice Blast on the back line here. Whole bunch of spells going up, and Juggernaut still spinning, so a little bit of damage on the mid. Let's see how much he can clean up. In fact, he's actually done. He's getting right with the depth of run line to relocate back out. iceiceice still alive. Is he gonna come back for a clean up? Beauty as well. Right clicking away, but iceiceice is chopping him down. He's forced to TP out. Omni-Slash can't TP here. She relocate back in the fight a little bit forward here. And Jusa is gonna go down. What an RP to start things off here for LGD-GAMING. Huge play.
And FY just saving that fight entirely. RP was great. They got 3, but one of them was the Tide, and Kraken Shield takes him out of it. He gets a 3-man Ravage in return. Key points of that fight, no Void chrono available. They didn't, and FY saved it. If that lose the Juggernaut, they probably lose IO too, unless he just ran away. Maybe also. FY with the big play as per usual, and it looks like it's gonna give them a Roshan as well, so Black will be getting a lot out of this one, I guess, beginning of the game.
I'm taking it so fast. Ice Splash is not being used into the Roshan pit, which I find it surprising. But yeah, big FY play. Slark's gonna pick up the Aegis, and if you see building Ultimate Orb, I imagine that's gonna be the build.
Oh, he's so much gold now. If he wanted an Ultimate Orb, he should be buying it now without, that's not even gonna dig into his reliable gold, I would think so.
So, you think it's going to be something bad?
Is it gonna be? Oh wow, he had 2.7k reliable. Okay, that's
he's
a lot of reliable.
He's got a ton of gold from hero kills, I imagine.
Yeah,
so.
That's a lot of reliable gold. Well, I think...
I mean, if you look over to iceiceice, he's not too
difficult to build on Slark in this game. It's like you want so much... You need like everything. So in a sense, it's maybe easy. You just buy one of everything, right? Maybe the best solution for now is the Scotty. Could be. Just being overall tanky might be the best choice.
A little bit of tank, a little bit of damage.
Yeah.
But I'm looking over to the Juggernaut, and he's going for, you know, the Manta style, which is the flavor of the month, I suppose. But again, that's not very much damage. So... And
it's also really not good against LGD's lineup. That's a little surprising to me. He might not upgrade the Yasha. He did get the spin-off, so no follow-up available yet, but okay, now there is. Yeah, definitely. Still punching the Chrono, but T2 is being pushed at the same time. Slark as well as IO going to overcharge running. And Black can just tank up for days with this burn charge as well, so Looks like they might just be getting the tower off this unless there's some response. And here comes the response. They got about half of it for a Juggernaut. If you're LGD-GAMING, I think you're okay with this. They used a Chrono for the solo Jugger kill, and you got half for tier 2, and that's pretty much all that happened while Mag is free farming bottom. That's
sure, yeah.
That's not good. Once again, it's not enough for LGD. You make that play if you see it, right? You go for that Chrono. It's not like he shouldn't have quote-unquote wasted the Chrono. It's not a waste, but they want more than this.
Yeah, and unfortunately there isn't more to be gotten because the Roshan is not available for them to take. They don't have the creep waves push for, you know, maybe a little bit of damage on the enemy tier 2, so like you say, you take the play, but you know, you don't get much more than the single hero kill.
And then you definitely make sure that what's about to maybe happen does not happen, because now they do not want a team fight to break out again without Chrono.
Yes.
With a good RP. Magnus is trying to get in position. The high ground ward, I do believe there's only a Radiant ward in the neighborhood, as it looks like. So they don't know where Magnus is right now, and it's making them very scared. They're going to pull back behind the tier 2, playing it passively while Void pushes up top and maybe gets some sort of split push going, but it just takes really long with this Void right now to even push the creep wave. Solar will be standing in front alone. Will be tanking easily. They can't really go on him, but well, okay, ice. That's, I mean, why not?
Is he baiting out some spells or something? He's got the Wisp back up.
Alright, he used his Scotty, let's go.
Alright. Well, for a second I thought Magnus went forward and really hard to push against Dusa when he's up. Oh, Blink Skewer, gonna miss.
I don't even know if that would have been good if it hit, to be honest.
Yeah, the Stone Gaze is gonna make everybody...
He made that mistake once, and he's trying for it again. And even though there's no Chrono, there actually is now. Void could have ported in and maybe landed one, although his mana is fairly low with this high mana cost Chrono, but
Radiant's top tower
I really, as tempting as it may be for the Magnus to do that, I think it's a too high risk play to skewer in the Medusa. Because let's say you put everything into the Medusa kill, I still think she actually doesn't die. There is a Scotty up. Juggernaut does not have enough damage to go through the mana shield yet. Maybe he goes Mantis into Diffusion. That could perhaps be reasoning. And then even though the Mantis style gets counted out with all these AoE abilities, if you can hold it long enough, that could be a way of piercing the mana shield. That would be a nice choice, I think. But
play a little bit of anti-mage with Juggernaut.
Yep.
Burn that shield.
He has real good base attack time, so he burns the mana very quickly. And of course, during the Omnislash, it's guaranteed that he will get some hits off. As FY does get caught out, easy kill.
Now, no Chrono being expended, and they're gonna do a little bit of pushing on the bottom.
This is a free tower for sure.
There's something to be said that for the past 5 minutes, Vici had pretty good map control, and with a Slark on your team, you just shut down wards from the enemy side. So LGD before the random kill and the Chrono's gonna
another Chrono.
Ice Blast gonna come in. Is it gonna hit? Yes, in fact it will. There's no fingers. They're using a lot for these kills, but Fade's gonna go down. Oh, that's off. They get the Hex off. Impel to follow up. Ravaging is being used here. He gets rid of the Ravage. He jumped on the left side here. They actually see him. He's regenerating a lot. I'm not sure if he wants to cancel here. I don't know why. Turns back.
I really think Vici should have tried to go for that play. They still have the Aegis on Black. They might as well try to use that for a fight there. Hang on, he used RP, right?
Yes.
He RP'd the ground? Or what?
I think so.
I didn't see anyone get RP'd. He might have messed up the blink, because that's probably the reason LGD-GAMING pulled out of that, else that could have been a fight of theirs, but well, nice escape from Black at the very least at the end of that. They do lose the Juggernaut, but will claim the mid-tier 2, although it's only a deny. Claimed by Solar.
Alright, hindsight's 2020. What if you decide to not leave out You have Aegis. You wait for your team to come in.
If your Magnus RP's the ground, I think it's better to jump out.
The RP did not hit the ground, you know, ideally.
The thing is, even when he jumped out, I think the setup for the RP was there, and Super could have just skewered them down to Black.
Right, okay.
After he jumped out, so I think he should have definitely done what he did there. That's just a misplay. It happens with the Blink Dagger these days, especially. Have you felt that too when you play? That I read about it, and then I talked about it, and some people said it's a myth and it doesn't happen. It just feels like Blink Dagger messes up more than it used to. It seems like sometimes, even if you've turned your hero entirely and you click Blink, sometimes it's just some weird delay that was reported, and I don't know if it's been fixed or not, but some people are still talking about it. And we see these pro players who play on an extremely high level in Dota. I just don't recall seeing these many whiff blinks as the blink combos as we've seen these days.
It hasn't happened to me, so I'm gonna call myth on that.
Okay.
But TIE Hunter is gonna go down here. Oh, Impale is gonna help a little bit. Here comes a Magnus.
Escape for him.
Give away the TIE.
Actually gets driven into the ward. That was pretty cool. The shots just became shorter and shorter.
more and more damage.
Basically died from cracking his head into the ward there.
Do you push off of this knowing that there is a chrono?
No, because they don't know if Tide has buyback, which he does, and they...
He doesn't have to RP or Ravage.
The question is if they timed it that precisely. We're down to a 30-second cooldown.
Yeah,
and
okay.
maybe they know, and even then, Medusa can still hold for 30 seconds. And then suddenly, if you're committing to the push, you could end up in a really nasty situation. So, going high ground against LGD's team is an absolute nightmare. It's very difficult, and I think what Vici might need to resolve to is split pushing. Because that's something LGD do not deal with that well.
Right, but the reason I ask is, I feel like if you're Vici gaming, you have this innate clock going, right? You're trying to break space against Dusa, who is by far the most late game carry in this. Well, you could argue that Slark could kind of go toe-to-toe with Dusa, depending on how the fight goes. But going from how the Hellraiser versus eHome game went, we saw what Dusa could do if you give him 20 more minutes of farm. Especially being backed up by Chrono and Ravage. Like, you gotta be worried.
That game did not have 2 melee carries with Empower, though.
That's true.
For HR. So this, however strong the Slark was in that game, Black actually has potential to go beyond that. Okay. He's not as farmed as Artez was in that game with the Slark, because that Slark was like 20-0 at minute, what was that? Minute 50 or maybe 55. He was extremely strong, pretty much fully stacked up. But Black will get there, and he can farm faster than Slark regularly does because of the Empower he wants. I think if you're Vici gaming now, you just calm down a little bit. You just keep farming, controlling the map. Look at LGD just stacking up as a bunch of 5, because that's all their lineup can really do at this point.
Right.
And if they don't find anything, you just out-farm them. They can even split push. They could run the IO +1 bottom while the other heroes are top, and then reinforce with the relocate.
Yeah.
They just need vision. That's all Vici Gaming needs to win this game.
And they are definitely doing a good job denying vision to LGD. Again, if you go to dire vision, there is not much of it, right? I imagine on the map.
I don't think they have a single ward now. They only have sentries, so...
Slark, man. What an OP hero.
The night vision, too.
They're making the skewer play again.
He really wants to keep going on Sylar. I am puzzled by this. It does not make sense to me.
As the game goes later and later, that play works less and less. Right?
Yeah, I think so, too. And... well, now the Magnus does have a BKB, so he can RP, and then instead of just getting Ravaged, he can actually get a little bit of damage out of the Shockwave. I don't think that's going to be making that big of a difference, though, because it's still the Chrono that is just going to lock them in place and get them killed. I don't know. Is he... let's imagine, okay, what if you blink Skewer Medusa,
you don't commit to RP,
and you just run away, and you force a reaction from LGD. Maybe you bait out an AA ultimate that hits the ground. Maybe you bait out, especially if a Ravage gets whiffed. That
well, you definitely get out the Stone Gaze, because I'm pretty sure...
and the Stone Gaze, of course, exactly. So you blink Skewer, forcing the Stone Gaze, and then you just force Staff away. Because Magnus has that, and even if he gets in more trouble, he also has BKB. There's another one, so Black will get it this game. After the Scotty, does feel like it's worth it. I feel like we see BKB very little on Slark these days. Is it just because teams don't pick enough Disable, or is Dark Pact just that good?
I think Slark gets snowbally enough that he just feels like he could skip it. Like, for example, last game, where we saw the Slark go 18-0, I don't think BKB was ever necessary. At the same time, that game, he didn't have to deal with a Blink Hex a lot. So, I think this game, he's just respecting the fact that MMY will get him eventually, and BKB is very much so necessary. We saw that the last game as well. They started building some late game Lincolns. They recognize that you just need some spell protection. So I think BKB is very underrated on Slark and should be purchased a little bit more.
Yeah. Gonna see if it works out well this game. There's obviously a lot to be blocked, as we mentioned earlier. It's one of those games where there's 2 abilities that pierce BKB, but you can't even get Lincolns against those. Stone Gaze does not get proc by Lincolns, neither does Chronosphere, so in some cases you're gonna see carries build both just because the Lincolns counters that one ability that really messes you up. The best example is probably Primal Roar of Beastmaster, where you get BKB and Lincolns, and then you just seem, for those 10 seconds that BKB is on, you're actually invulnerable, pretty much. Or immortal, not invulnerable. That would be crazy.
Tower is under attack.
In this case, not going to be that easy to use the BKB. That's another thing. I mean, it's great to have it, but when do you pop it? Just right when you go in, you just pump it.
Yeah, hopefully.
Every single time. And
hopefully when you're, like, if you just go in with Shadow Dance alone and you just get Chrono, then you actually might just die before you even come out of that zone. Things like, you know, Ice Blast, getting clipped by the Ravage, getting shattered. So maybe just go in and pop BKB.
LGD will be going for the Roshan. The relocate from Io and Juggernaut is available. They're currently split pushing the top 2 too. Looks like they know what's going on, by the way. The pink is coming out from Super. They do not envisage inside that they have no invisible summons or anything like that. So Black Slark might have to Blink in and open. He's going to do exactly that. Going on to Sylar. There's the RP. Yao is going to drop before he maybe even gets the call off. Nice mech, though. Could be able to get something out. Will just jump out himself.
They don't even have to ravage that. Right now, LGD has everything active. They're going to throw everything here on the Witch Doctor. He gets forced half away. But he's not winning that
LGD, your face.
Oh, Secura's gonna come through here. No RP from Secure alone's gonna be enough. The Ravage gonna come out, canceling the Death Ward. But meanwhile, Black, he's been hitting for the past 30 seconds. Essence shifts back. He's got 18 so far. Meanwhile, like you said, the base is taking a ton of damage on the top here. Split push was your call on. That's exactly what they did. They get the Raxus and they get the Roche.
What a sick outplay from VG-GAMING. They actually kept the fight in the Roche pit 3-on-5 for 20 seconds without dying.
Yep.
They got full lane of Rax meanwhile, and their only casualties are Magnus and Io. They get three kills, Roche and Rax for support and mid lane. So that could not have gone any better for them. That was amazing.
What we didn't see on the screen was Wisp relocating the Juggernaut top. Is that what happened? Is that how they got the Rax?
They were actually just pushing the whole time, and then they relocated into the fight.
Oh, okay.
They relocated in, and Juggernaut Omni/Dusa to her death toward the end of the fight. The crazy thing about that is, I don't even think VG-GAMING needed to relocate in the Jugger. I think they were actually winning the fight 3-on-5.
Sure.
That's incredible.
And the start was Black just jumping in and just man-fighting. And if you just commit the Chrono just for the Slark, or the Ravage just for the Slark, sure you may kill the Slark, but you just lose that fight flat out as well, right?
Yeah, there's just, they need too much to happen. That's the problem. Slark can create so incredible much space. The thing on him, well, first of all, he might have a buyback, then he just goes back into the fight. At the same time, you're being split pushed that you also need to deal with, and that's also hard to deal with your big AoE ultimate cooldown. It's just, it seems like at this point, LGD, like, you look at their lineup and you imagine that 5-on-5 team fight where they just destroy VG-GAMING, but it never happens on those. It's generally the downfall of the 5-on-5 wombo combo at very high skill level is that teams, of course, recognize that that's the threat, and they just make sure to split out the fight. And that's why Slark was actually a very nice last pick, because he is the one that, with the confidence, just open the fight and start creating some chaos and splitting it out. And the moment it's split out, it's almost already won for VG.
Yeah, you know how when you said Tidehunter blinked in and popped off a great mech to save his allies?
Yeah. I
think during that time, he also wanted to drop out the Ravage. But the only people he could Ravage was...
I think it was only Black.
The Slark that had BKB turned on.
Yeah.
And the Magnus that had a BKB turned on. So, if Slark didn't get that BKB, the fight might have turned much differently.
And there's something we haven't really talked about that we need to keep in mind. Black jumps on the Dusa and keeps hitting the Dusa.
Yeah.
So you can't really chrono Black without chronoing Sylar unless you place it perfectly. And that means who's going to kill Black when the chrono lands? If he's in BKB, only Void can hit. He does not have the damage yet whatsoever. And all the other heroes can't do anything about
RP being used?
Okay, they might follow through. There we go. There's the Omni-Slash as well as Dark Pact jumping in. Pounce as well. Well, Sylar will be getting out. Use the Stone Gaze. They only got the A. Black is much around.
Black's got Aethos, he's not afraid.
Okay, now they rotate into mid. They could try for this Talon.
I mean, again, at this point, you could just kill Black, but you can't kill him twice, right? Without...
They just can't.
So, if you're VG-GAMING here and you know that, you just start hitting Raxus or hitting tier 3.
Oh, Black is 7 gold, by the way. Just a peripheral comment. He could buy a full Abyssal if he wanted.
Okay.
Going in.
Black taking
not using Dark Pact, actually. That's gonna cost him a lot of health, but...
Well, he's a Slark.
Slark is gonna get it back fast. I wonder how much he heals per second with Witch Doctor heal, Tether, and Healing Ward.
168
yeah, that's without the Healing Ward.
Yeah.
So...
Okay, let's...
No, that 168 is just his passive, because it doesn't show the other ones.
Tether regen, yeah.
He might heal like 500 per second with a Tether, overcharge, and heal. The Juggernaut Healing Ward on top of that, because that also heals Wisp, which in turn heals Slark.
I wish
He's immortal.
If Game Lock shows how much you get healed for a second.
Yeah.
Maybe we could check it out later on.
That's absurd amounts of healing that they get out of that. IO and Juggernaut is very powerful in that regard, so... Well, anyway, they got the AA kill. They didn't really manage to get a tower, but they committed the RP, which I think will be ready soon. It's 30 seconds on that. I guess they're just going to wait for that and then try to make the opening. Juggernaut sitting on an MKB. No Butterfly on Dusa yet, but she does have the Talisman of Evasion, which is, of course, useless against the Juggernaut. Slark will be picking up the Abyssal Blade as expected.
Now, is there a ray of hope for LGD? You're fighting up high ground. That's where these big AoE ultimate gets much better. That's where Dusa gets much better as well, but...
They need to win 3 team fights in a row.
Okay.
That's enough. And very unlikely.
You make it sound very easy. RP solo, but it looks like, I mean, look at that support on the backline. He doesn't die yet next to the mech. He's got the Gold Scepter as well. Jump forward, no Chrono being extended. They actually bash him Chrono, and he walks into the Chrono. I'm not sure what that's about, but they actually bring him down. 80% down. Ice dies. The Death Ward, though, doesn't do anything. You know, they defended. They didn't really do anybody's spot. Unfortunately, lack of package in the fight and your kids in the field.
Yeah, they used all their ultimates, so Juggernaut could actually buy back now, and they could probably end the game. They're gonna play it safe though without buying back and just run out. They do get an effigy destroyed, so massive accomplishment, and the close to the tier 4 at top, that's all they got.
That's an LGD win though.
That's definitely an LGD win, and that's also as good as it's gonna get though.
Right, but when you say they need to win 3 fights in a row.
Need to win 10 of these.
Okay. But that's a step in the right direction.
They need, yeah, so 1,000 gold behind, right? 5-man widely gain like 6 or 7k, and then the next fight, because the difference is smaller, maybe they get 5,
okay,
and then they get 4. If their lineup is like 5,000 gold behind, they can easily fight, but like 20k out of the question. They need to land things perfectly, like they're a really good 2-man Chrono, they got the A ult, Ravage was good as well. Yeah. I don't think VG-GAMING can give them a better situation than that one, unless they like really want to. So it's a very tall order.
Just a shout out to another very usage of the mech. It looked like MMY was gonna get dropped very quickly, but the mech led into the Gold Scepter, led into the fact that, you know, he was able to survive and whatnot.
It's actually in July is working on the refresher. Still quite a way to go though, so that's going to change things. If they get two Ravages, that could make a big difference, but it's quite far down the line. I think he needs about 3,500 gold for it at this point, or something like that. And at the same time, Magnus is going to have 2 RP, so I guess who does that favor most? Probably VG-GAMING, because they have the BKBs.
Yep.
So.
And I don't expect, you know how you said the fights as getting good as it gets? I don't expect iceiceice to just randomly die.
No.
Before getting off his ult. I think that's kind of like the best case scenario for LGD, and I don't think you're going to find another one like that.
Well, there's the Butterfly. It's a start. As mentioned, Juggernaut does have True Strike with the MKB. Slark does not. He has Abyssal, so that's still, even that evasion, I think Black still will get, he has pretty good attack speed, especially once the fight extends and he gets to steal a lot of stats and get a lot of agility. He hits hard, so, I mean.
I think this blink, I don't want to say it's the nail on the coffin, but it allows iceiceice to go with the Slark and start pinpointing those supports.
Yeah, I think Lion did have Ghost Scepter last fight, right? So that's how they stayed in that fight, because Slark would have insta-killed MMY in the beginning. Maybe he won't let that happen this time. He has the Abyssal, which he did last fight. He might have just not noticed. If you blink Abyssal's line, you should probably kill him very fast. Mid lane? I'm not sure about this. They have relocate the whole time. He's not going to use it though. They wait way too long. Big mistake. With VG-GAMING, FY is less process.
Below, one more hit. Okay.
That's a double kill for Medusa.
iceiceice, he's a little bit of trouble. He gets Chrono just on the edge. That's going to allow Lion to stack things like Earth Spike as well as Hex. They don't even need a Hex. That's the one fight in my vote.
That's just sloppy though. But that is indeed, we can count that as one of those. Okay, that's one of the 3 they need.
1.5, counting the other one earlier.
Let's see how much gold this gives them. I'm going to assume this is about a 5k swing, maybe 6. Because they got a couple of really big kills there. I think there might have been a streak. The graph is not updated yet, obviously, as it turns out. But we're starting to see the dip. They just can't do that. I mean, split pushing as they're doing is fine, but they really thought Blank could tank more than he could. And then the relocate was too late. They end up getting caught, both of them, and give a couple of freebies to LGD. And if there's one lineup you don't want to give freebies to on the defense, it's Void Medusa lineups.
Well, I think
they will outscale them late game. Even 2 melee carries with Empower cannot beat Void Medusa late game.
I think it's just mostly the Medusa, right? If you look over to Void, he's building more utility in a sense, right? He's got the Aghanim build, which just for a little bit more chrono duration, but yeah.
And the cooldown.
And the cooldown.
Especially.
The cooldown actually matters quite a bit.
It's 60 seconds, which means
I mean, it's 60, right? So
I think it's 100 to 60, so they can't just, the cooldown so they can't just buy back and go again, knowing that Chrono's down, because the time for them to get to the base again is pretty much a new Chrono. Not that they've tried to do that previously, but yeah, that extra second duration should not be underestimated either. It's more time for Medusa to lay into them. She will be getting a damage out of neck. next. And the question is what Salar is thinking for. We've seen Daedalus sometimes, if you want to really, of course the crits can't proc on the split shot, but it will proc on the main target. So then you do very heavy damage to a single target and a lot of split damage to the others. Or you can get the MKB, which gives you True Strike against all targets, but there's no evasion yet on VG-Gaming. But of course, the MKB can only proc on the main target as well. It's probably going to be either of those two unless you go just all in and buy the Rapier, which... I mean, I still feel like LGD are so pressured that that's the best pickup, but I don't know if they feel the same way.
I mean, maybe after winning that fight, they see a ray of hope and don't want to go all YOLO, but...
Yeah, it's still hard to imagine VG-Gaming making that kind of mistake so many times if they have to.
How do you see Mjolnir as a late game damage dealing item choice?
So the Chain Lightning will obviously only proc on the main attack. It gives good attack speed. Does she have enough damage for that attack speed to be very valuable? What's her damage sitting at right now? I think
she's got a double damage, so it's very
that's
accurate.
Expired already. So there we go. So 200 damage with a Mjolnir.
Maybe not so much.
Compared to Daedalus, that will give her about 100 plus the powerful crit. I think Daedalus is just a better choice. She has good attack speed too. Lots of agility. Look at that. She has plus 104 on that agility. So about her agility coming in the way of enough attack speed.
Like the fight's gonna break out right now. Reloading defensively. That Magnus RP is looking for a Ravage gonna come out. BKB disjoins that Ravage. Where's the second Ravage coming out? He actually stretched it out of mana onto the back line here. It's a Slark that's dead. It's a Juggernaut that's dead. Jumping forward here, looking for this is Skiro back. Like he also died. Count that one for another win fight for an LGD. I'm not sure why there's so many Dusa comebacks, but this could be another one.
This is crazy. Like that this is happening. There we go.
Divine.
Love it.
Nice.
That's the right choice. Okay, now here's why this is important. They're gonna get Roche too. So they get the Aegis for the Dusa. She now has the Rapier, which if you look at how much payout you get per gold, Rapier is the best item in the game, right?
Is that better than GG Branch? Like,
yes, it's even better than Branch, I would say. So, or is it? Yeah, it is. So they're gonna have to kill the Dusa twice, which right now they're struggling. Team fight, right? And the execution just dropped. They just need to hit a somewhat Ravage and a some Chrono, and Dusa will make work of them. Vici just made two huge mistakes in a row that, even though LGD are probably about 10 to 15k gold behind at this point, I want to say LGD is almost leading the game now.
I think Dusa is one of those heroes that you can be 10k behind and still do fine, especially when you have the item that she has. So...
Man, this is going to be... This might be the biggest loss of the tournament. I don't think there's been a team ahead by 20k yet that ended up losing the game. And
well, Hellraiser last...
Were they 20k ahead? I don't think so.
They had 18-0 start. They had to be like...
I don't even think they were that far
ahead.
There was a lot of fun on the other team. Well,
that's true. Okay, well...
Salah, here we go. This takes me back some years. Dusa Rapier front line. ZSMJ memories, anyone? It's gonna start hitting the tower.
Because ZSMJ had two.
That's true. We need
so not yet, not yet. And all the ultimates are still available on VG-Gaming. So if they find a good one, but again, how do you initiate into this team? Because Dusa is only one sitting on the front line. Yeah, the Rakdos is just being forfeited. Are they going to do a little bit of shenanigans on the back line?
Instant Hex again!
Oh my god, MMY, he's just playing too good. Magnus dies, I'm not sure what he has. Buyback, Wisp is going to get exploded, and Dusa still full health, full bottle, right clicking on the front line.
This game might end now. This is unbelievable. They could just go throne. There is... Because what else would they do? The tier 2s are standing on the sidelines. They're going to force buybacks? Oh wait, you don't have buybacks. Great guys, let's just take this win. Hand it over. I mean, this is crazy. I want to say MMY has really been pulling off some amazing hexes that have put them in a great position. They suddenly just figured out how to play this from a defensive stance to pull it off. And once they
on the back line, Slark trying to do some work, but immediately he actually stuns and Bissell. He's trying to go for Yao, but it doesn't matter. In fact, Chrono
and Chrono too.
And then they're gonna just burst everything on him. Deathward is actually bouncing around and doing a significant amount of damage, but they're gonna just run through, tank everything, kill the Witch Doctor. Just buyback to block. Maybe they won't get the... No, they're gonna just keep on doing it.
If they do this very well, they will hold. They're gonna hold. I think LGD pulls back now. They're 5-on-4. Okay, Black's gonna go in. Uh-oh, that's not good if he dies. Probably.
Still alive. Still alive. Magnus is back in 1 second. Can they hold? Yeah, the girl's not gonna... That on the second match, iceiceice's gonna die. I'm not sure whether he has buyback. The Magnus RP's gonna come through. He only gets one. MMY is there again to drop off Impale Super, trying to do a little bit of work. But look at Adusa. She's not movable. She's just right-clicking away. If Asia can use it, I'm not sure. GG's being called, and GG's gaming. Another throw against Deuces Gaming? I'm not sure.
That was... I don't even know where to start. The question is if Viching felt how far ahead they were, because the gold graph is one thing, but another thing is what the players feel like in the game, if they can like figure out what the threats are, what their strength, and how they really stand in the game. If you're playing this kind of LGD lineup from behind and you're 10k behind at the, like 50 minutes in, you're not really behind.
Right.
So I want to say Viching Gaming had an incredibly big lead. They should have